We are back again, still playing Star Wars Republic Commando.
And I was not done with my topic from the last video, so I shall continue. And another reason I don't, listen to it that often is because it's technically not even considered music. It's computer noises.
Well, computer noises aren't always bad if they're done correctly.
Yeah, but in all honesty, it doesn't really show any real musicianship that you know how to use a computer program to form them.
Well, there are some exceptions, but you see, what is it? Oh!
There are some exceptions. Oh!
That's not an exception. Okay then, for example, in ye old times where gaming consoles were ancient, and man used to need to put cartridges in video gaming consoles just to play a video game. The music used to be synthesized on the system itself, meaning essentially all the music had to be computer generated, and they had no other option.
I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's bad in all cases, but I'm just saying, like, it can be. I just find that most music today that utilize that, it doesn't sound good, and yet people say it does.
Well, I wasn't saying you were referring to that. I was just for the general audience.
Yeah. And you've died again.
Jeez, this is so annoying. My teammate just told me to die later, because right now is not a good time to die.
Yeah, screw you, 6-2.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of enjoy that the game programmers put in stuff like that, because it makes the game feel lighthearted. Because I don't know about you, but I personally don't like heavy-hearted games.
Is heavy-hearted even an expression?
Yeah, it is.
It's
essentially serious business. Oh, speaking of serious business, I have an example of serious business later. But finish your topic.
That's basically it. And
what
just killed you?
That's jank.
Did they shoot you through the door?
I guess. Okay then. So my example of serious business is that, okay, again going back to Sonic, because I can't just shut up about him. For one game, they thought, we have a character that's semi-serious. So why don't we give him guns?
Let's get some guns up in this.
Bloop.
Yes.
No, seriously, it's like, are you telling me that I'm supposed to be expected to take a game about a blue hedgehog that stands like a human, acts like a human, etc. like a human, you know, with a bunch of other furry friends? You expect me to take that seriously?
And it's kind of hard to be taken serious anyway, but if you give them guns, it just flies out the window.
I know. It's like, I guess I understand they're trying to relay the message that this game is supposed to be much more mature than previous Sonic games in order.
Oh yes, and they also curse in that game.
But the only word they use is like the D word, so it's, if you're...
Oh, wait, remember? In that one game, it's not the game we're talking about, but when you punch... Remember what he says when you punch?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, let's finish guns first. Okay,
yeah.
then. Oh, yeah, okay, so, what is it? Yeah. Yeah, so they essentially wanted to try to convey the message that this game is much more serious than previous Sonic games, and, you know, it should appeal to adults because it's just so darn serious.
And it has guns,
and cursing.
Which at the time, most people thought were a bad influence, but...
Well, actually, I think this game came out in, like, 2005, so I think at the time, like, everyone was like, serious business.
But it was a flop.
Yeah. I don't know. The game itself is not necessarily atrocious, but it's not great. You know?
Yeah. It's one of those games no one remembers, or wants to remember.
Unless you're finding the computer room!
And speaking of which, did you find that yet?
No. I guess I will eventually.
How did that miss?
I don't know. It's annoying. Okay then. So, what is it? So yeah, so essentially the game was too serious, you know, if you want to play it, it's not really, really, really terrible, unplayably terrible. It plays okay. It's sort of fun. I played it one time, you know, it's just guns. It's just too weird, you know?
It doesn't really make sense for the universe anyway. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, okay then. So I'm dying again. Yay.
Oh yes. What was that game I was talking about in which the character shouts S every time he punches?
Oh yeah, so in Sonic Heroes, if you play Team Sonic or Sonic Team or whatever the heck it's called, when you play as Knuckles, and you hit the action button, as I like to refer to it, which makes Knuckles punch, the first word he'll say will sound a lot like the S word. I'm not exactly sure if it is it, but it sure does sound like it.
Huh. I mean, what word could it have been? Shoot! Shoot! No,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound right.
I don't know, whatever it is, they screwed up, you know?
Yeah. And yet this game was still rated E.
Yeah. I guess maybe, what is it, like, what's the word? Sega convinced ESRB that it was like an accident or something? I don't know.
I don't know, but just because it's in there, they would still probably raise the rating a bit.
I don't know, it was E. So I guess no one must have noticed. Or they must have been like, oh, it's a Sonic game, therefore it's automatically E. You know?
Again, bias. But whatever.
I don't know, whatever. I don't know the ESRB. All I know is that they tell me if I'm allowed to play this game or not, which can be annoying at times.
Well, technically not even that. They set guidelines that no one cares to follow.
I don't know. Well, actually, if you think about it, the ESRB is essentially a good thing, because I think, like, was it way back when, during, like, the 16-bit era, when Sega and, Sega and, Nintendo were fighting, Sega invented this quote-unquote game rating system, so that way they could put games with mature, quote-unquote, mature content, so that yeah, like I said, so they have games appealing to adults, instead of it just being all quote unquote kid stuff.
Yeah.
And Nintendo didn't have that, so let's say they were to port Doom to the SNES, which they did, so they'd have to censor a lot of crap just so they could have Doom in there.
Yeah, but ESRB is a much better solution to this. Yep. Although it is rather annoying. And do you think that there should be like a national game rating system, or like I don't think that every country should have its own, because it really doesn't make sense. If you go to one country, you have to be 15-year-old to play a mature game. If you go to another country, you have to be 17. If you go to another country, you have to be 21. So
I don't know. I guess, like, I don't know. I think, like, Germany is, like, rather sensitive when it comes to certain content.
Yeah, you know how in every other country this game is rated teen? Yeah, it's rated M in Germany.
No, really, I never checked in Germany. All I know is Germany is a lot stiffer when it comes to the ratings.
Yeah, they just don't like, while in America they would put down on a rating for cursing and gore. This game, in Germany, if the game has blood at all, it gets pushed up to M.
Really?
Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my opinion, every game should have these two options. The option for blood on or off, and the option for cursing on or off. Because I personally don't want no cursing in my video game, but I know there are plenty of other people that feel otherwise. So
or
at least
don't care to, you know?
Yeah, so at least give me the option to turn it off. I mean, isn't that why we have option menus?
Yep.
And the part's over. Again.
And we will see you in the next episode.